I feel like I did life so wrong. Mommy, like, this is my journey now, and I have to do what I have to do for myself. I'm a baby mom. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do and relearn these things and do what I want to do because I didn't get the chance to do it when I was with you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Highest Version Podcast. I'm your host, Rainy Philvong, and on this podcast, we talk about falling in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Today's guest is Monica Som. She's a Cambodian American growing up in a small town and is now ready to spread her wings and explore the world and the world of pastries. Throughout her trials of heartbreak with intimate relationships and the relationship with her mom, she's embarking on a journey to become the highest version of herself. So let's welcome Monica.
Yay!
How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I've watched like a few episodes already, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited to be on this podcast. Everybody on this has been amazing, and their stories have been amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of heartfelt, inspiring stories that I feel like everybody can learn from. And when I talked with you, and obviously we've known each other for a little bit, quite some time now, but this is a chance for us to really get on a deeper relationship. So before we get started at anything, I just want to introduce the Funko Pop of the episode, which is, this is coming far, far from left field. And it's Krillin from the anime Dragon Ball Z. If you guys don't know Krillin's characteristics, he's a very funny, optimistic, brave, loyal character, very strong. And when I was thinking about Monica and her personality traits, I feel like really resonated with that through, you know, her silliness on her own content. That's where Krillin's funniness comes from. But her bravery and loyalty to challenge life's struggles and loyalty to your friends and family. So
I love that. That's actually really good. That's really nice.
Ooh, thank God. Yeah, because I was telling Monica earlier offline, I was like, yeah, so I was thinking of like, you know, ratatouille, world of pastries, you know, cooking. Like, I feel that'd be cool. Couldn't coming in on time. I was like, oh, that was shit. I was like, okay, what about Up, like Carl? And she couldn't come in on time. And I was like, wow. But I'm happy that, you know, after, so, you know, you can see my vision on how I'm really relating the two of you.
No, I like it. I've never been compared to Krillin before, ever. But I like that.
I'm happy that you are happy with it.
Yeah.
So. All right, so we're going to get into it, straight to the point.
Yeah.
So, you know, through our conversations, you talked about how you've grown a lot through a lot of your heartbreaks. So the first one I want to touch on is the hardships with your mom. You know, what has those hardships taught you? Like the events, the feelings, and just the experiences that you had.
Oh, this is such a deep question. So those of you that don't know, I am the middle child and I am the only daughter. So I have two brothers. So in an immigrant family, the daughters have a lot of responsibilities. And at a young age, I talked about this with Kyle and Aline where we talk about like locking in. Like, when do you remember when you locked in life? And I'm like, oh, I remember locking in at like 7 because that was when my parents were in the middle of a divorce. And it was one of the hardest moments of my life. And it's the most memorable because before that, I don't remember anything at all. So my relationship with my mother has definitely grown now that I've, you know, spread my wings and started to move out here on my own. But when I was younger, she had a lot of, I don't know if it was resentment or just her not knowing how to navigate life either. So a lot of the responsibilities would fall onto me. So I would be making these phone calls for her, filling out paperwork for her, going to her job interviews with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like there was, and I was only 7, like turning like 13 is when I like really started to be more involved in like trying to get her out of her comfort zone and having her live her life. Because, you know, she was married all of her life and like raising kids and, you know, she never knew how to be on her own. So it's like now I'm there to try to support her and be there for her while taking care of my little brother, Tyler. He's my best friend, but also
a pain in your ass.
A pain in my ass for sure. But he is also a sole reason as to who I am today as well. But me and my mom, we would fight constantly because she relied so much on me for a lot of things. And there are moments and times where I'm like, oh, I just need to breathe. Like I need time, I need space. Like I don't know who I am. Like all I'm doing is living for her. And if I do one little thing wrong, it was just the end of the world. Like I was already like a terrible daughter. She doesn't love me. She'll ignore me for days.
Oh,
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Like it was to the point where I kind of like wanted to run away.
At what age did you have that thought?
I would say like 13, 14. Like I really wanted to run away, like just pack my things and just leave because I felt so unappreciated. I felt like no matter what I did for her, it was never enough. And I was so focused on her that I barely focused on myself.
Yeah.
And I was so focused on my little brother that I didn't even have time to just do what I want to do. So like even now, it's been such a hard time for me to be like, oh, what do I want to do? So it's been rough.
Yeah.
Been so rough. And I remember having like a deep conversation with my mom one time, telling her how I felt. Because
Wow.
yeah,
Like to release all those, like, was this recently? Was
it
this
was
years ago?
recently. Yeah, it was recently when I finally moved out, when I was like really opened up to her and I was like, you know, mommy, like I feel like I did life so wrong because I see other people doing this and doing that. They're getting married, they've got their bachelor's degrees, now they're going for their masters. Like everybody's life is so different from mine because I focus so much on like her and like not disappointing her that it was hard for me to put my foot forward.
No, we got you. We got you. We know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like I like listening to all the other previous podcasts, like everybody has like a really good education and they have like really like crazy jobs. And I'm like, well, I'm starting to get there, but I don't have my bachelor's degree. I didn't go that route
Yeah.
at all. I didn't know because I was never taught these things. And I wasn't in an environment where I had somebody I knew that was like down that route, you know? So it was difficult. So I told her all those things where I'm just like, mommy, like this is my journey now and I have to do what I have to do for myself. And I'm literally going backwards and retraining myself and being like, I'm a baby mom. Like I'm going to do what I want to do and relearn these things and do what I want to do because I didn't get the chance to do it when I was with you.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love you, mommy. I love you and I appreciate you, but I need to learn to love myself more.
And how did your mom react to that?
It was hard for her, but I think she realized like, oh, like I can trust her. I can trust that she can do this for herself because she's been all on her own. And she realized in the end that I'm always going to be there for her. Like she can rely on me better than she can rely on her other kids. And that's all I ever wanted was for her to finally trust me, to finally understand like everything I do for her is out of love. And even though I don't know the answers right away, I will figure it out for her. And in turn, it would, you know, benefit me because I learn a lot. And then it makes me feel good that I can be that for her.
Yeah. I can imagine as like someone who's like interviewing for someone, like if your mom came in and then a 7-year-old came, I'd be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like, are you babysitting? Like, what's going on? You don't have childcare?
Yeah, but I've done that too before, like just having to do stuff for my dad. Like one member that comes up to mind is that he was going to get his like bachelor's degree because twice he's gotten his associate's degree, and like I think I was like 13, 14. And I would be like writing essays for him, and he'd be like, "Okay, like I'm gonna hand this in." I was like, "Did I just like, did you just like cheat or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh no, I'll read it, edit it, all this stuff." I was like, "Yeah, okay." You basically edit like one word and then you hand it in. But like I know that struggles as a like a young kid as well. Like you're trying to figure out yourself. You want to go do certain things, but you're being not that it's an obligated responsibility, but you feel like it's an obligated responsibility to help your parents. And if you don't, you get that shame and guilt that like, hey, you're not helping, like I help you, da 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 da. And it's hard in that young infancy when you're trying to like really figure yourself out. So as you're like going through school, so from 7 to like 14, like was it like, did you have friends at this time? Like were you able to like be social, or was it all just solely everything on your mom?
No, I did have a fairly social life. I have the same group of friends that I have now.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, we have been together since 5th grade up until now. But I still didn't get the privileges that maybe other people did, like playing sports or doing like after school stuff or like joining a club or something like that. I never had the chance to do that because a lot of that needed money. And my mom is a single mom. And there were just different priorities. And it would mostly fall on like my brothers. So if they wanted to join a club or like a sport, they could. But for me, I didn't really join anything. I joined something that was free that I loved. And I still love today, which is chorus.
Okay.
So I have been singing since I was like very, very young.
I didn't know you were a singer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your, like, if someone gave you a mic for karaoke, what's that song that you're singing?
Let's see. I'll probably sing something from like R&B. Maybe something Chris Brown.
Okay, I heard.
Yeah, maybe something Chris Brown or Love by Keisha Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
that's my song. I can't do the love riff, but everything else, I got it down.
Okay, I don't think anybody can do Alicia Keys riffs. They're crazy.
It's crazy. But I did get to join chorus. So I did chorus all throughout middle school to high school. Joining competitions and stuff like that was fun. But I didn't really do like a sport.
Yeah. Which is okay. Which is okay.
But those extracurricular activities are good for like socializing and like building better relationships with people. And so I didn't get that chance. And college, I didn't know anything about college, so I didn't do anything with that, but I did get my associate's degree.
Okay.
So yeah, but I didn't get to go to like parties or like sneak out of the house and like, do bad things.
Yeah. On
I didn't do any of
lockdown.
that,
Yeah.
I was always home and like sleeping a lot because like I didn't know that that's like a huge sign of depression. You're just so tired, like emotionally drained that all you do is like you just sleep.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Wow.
A lot of sleeping.
Well, you're also upholding two lives, like your own and your mom's as well.
Yeah.
And what was, I guess, as that time was going, like those fights that you had with your mom, like how bad did it get? Like was it the most where she ignored you for days? Was that the worst that it got?
Yeah, like there was a time where I don't know if this is TMI, but I was 18. And I finally told her like, "Hey mom, like I did something with the person I love and I lost my virginity."
Yeah.
And that was probably the day she was the most disappointed in me.
Wow.
And I still don't know why to this day, because I'm like, well, I'm 18 and I graduated high school and I was with this person for a little over a year. So to me, I was like, oh, it just made sense. But for her, it was so detrimental to her. She didn't talk to me for a week.
Wow.
She completely ignored me. Like, obviously, we live in the same house. We're walking around, having dinners, and like going out with families and stuff like that. And like even in front of my brothers, she would just blatantly ignore me. She wouldn't even look in my direction. So that was the most memorable argument that we've had. And then every other time, yeah, it's usually just like 1 or 2 days where she ignores me. But that is why when somebody ignores me, it's my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a trigger.
Hurts.
It's a trigger.
Oh, it's
yeah.
such a trigger. I'm like, oh my God, like what did I do? And I don't know how to make anyone feel better. Like with my mom, I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do or what to say. Like no matter what I did, it was never enough.
Yeah.
So now I feel the same way with other people where I'm like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, is there something that I could do to make you feel better? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, oh.
It's that mind reading where you think, like, have you had that practice and then you went to go to whoever and was like, hey, like, did I do something wrong? And they're like, no, I'm just busy. Has that happened to you before?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, no, please stop ignoring me. They're like, we're not ignoring you. I'm like, oh, okay. My bad. Trauma.
It's that what I've learned through therapy, it's that cognitive distortion of you trying to read the other person's mind and bring up scenarios where you're like, oh, like they're not talking to me because like, I did something wrong. So you go through this rabbit hole of trying to figure out what you did. Oh. And then it's like it takes days, it takes energy out of you, right? And like, oh man, I did that a lot too. And I just don't know where that came from. I think part of it has to do with like I think there was a time in in high school or middle school where like, you know, like the whole when a girl says I'm fine, and I'm like, I'm literally trained to the point where like if a girl says I'm fine, I'm like, okay,
She's not
it's
really
not
fine.
fine. Yeah. But then like obviously with my partner Michelle, like when I asked her, oh, she's fine, like she's like she really is fine sometimes. And it has gotten it took a lot of work for me to realize that like, okay, she's telling me the truth, she's not lying to me about that. But no, I know what that feels like, and it sucks. It sucks.
Oh my God.
It takes so much work to unlearn and be like, okay, like they're actually fine. Like chill, relax. Yeah.
I know. I'm trying to be better at it. And I think I have been. Or now I try to avoid people who make me feel that way. You know? Because for the most part, that only really happens when I'm like in a relationship with somebody where I always feel like something is wrong. And usually there is something wrong.
Okay.
So now I just try to avoid those type of relationships with people where I'm like, okay, if you're always hot and cold or something is always making you mad, I don't want to be a part of that at all. Yeah. So now that I surround myself with better people, I don't really feel that way anymore. I feel a lot more secure. But before I was like, dang, like you are a lot. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
You're not admitting it, and I don't want to deal with that. Like I don't have the time and the energy anymore. I'm old.
You're not old. That's a growth point.
I'm the ripe age of 30.
Yeah. Hey, your life just started.
You're right.
Your life just started. So going back to kind of like the experiences with your mom, did you ever think about having, because it seems like you're pretty open to your mom about a lot of things. I guess what prevented you from being open about telling her how you really feel about, you know, doing all those things for her?
I just felt like she needed me.
Yeah.
I couldn't say no because it's like, I don't know, I just couldn't say no. I would feel horrible. But also like now that I've gotten older, now I try to teach her to do those things so that she doesn't have to rely on me and rely on other people actually, you know? Like she's getting older and she shouldn't feel like she can't do anything, you know? You should at least try. So back in the day, I was so, what's the word where you like enable somebody? Yeah, like I'm enabling her. So I do everything for her. And and I realized like that's not the way I should do it. And so I explained that to her and I was like, I always start off my sentences like this: Mommy, you know I love you.
And then she's like, oh man, what's coming now?
Yeah. You know I love you and I'm doing this because I care. I'm going to teach you how to do this and that so that later on you're not going to ask anybody else to do it. And it's going to make you feel good. Like you're going to be like, oh, I know how to do this. I don't have to call X, Y, and Z to do this for me. Like, don't you want that for yourself is basically what I say to her. And she's like, she gets upset for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think she is very appreciative. She'll never tell me flat out.
No, they won't.
Ever.
No.
But I know she's very grateful now. For sure. So that makes me feel better. Yeah.
What do you think her trigger is when you kind of try to teach her that kind of stuff? Do you think it's like, oh, like the parent children hierarchy? Like
I think it is. Okay. Yeah. I think like because obviously she's my mom, she's like, why do I have to listen to you? Yeah. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're saying. But it's like, okay, Mommy, then why do you come to me? If that's
well, explain all this then.
But yeah, she does feel a little bit uncomfortable with that dynamic. But at the end of the day, like that's probably the best way to do it is like, yeah, you're literally reparenting your parents because they're also learning. Yeah. But we have a lot more resources than them. So it's better that we teach them and them just learn to receive without feeling offended or feeling like lesser than us because that's not the case at all. No. So I try to explain that to her. And I think she's starting to understand. I think. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah.
There's no fight.
Yeah. There's as long as there's no trouble coming out of it, that means it's working. Yeah. And it's so funny because it's just like, oh, like I'm trying to teach you like about technology, and if you refuse, I'm like, fine, fine. No one would tell you how to release those Facebook messages. Exactly. Then how about that? And it's gonna be on there forever. So how about that? Oh my God, there's so many questions from my parents about how. Like, hey, I have something on my face. My Facebook's broken. I was like, your Facebook's not broken. It's just,
oh my God, the Facebook is crazy. And the fact that they learned how to do Facebook Live, it's just like, oh goodness gracious.
It's so funny. It's so funny how they live their best lives on Facebook. Yeah. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg. So if you could go back in time, and, talk to your younger self, what is something that you would tell her in terms of a relationship with your mom?
Oh my goodness, just that I love you, and you are definitely going to go through some shit with your mom, but it's all actually really worth it in the end, because I have the best relationship with her now. And I know it's hard, but you know what? It's going to be okay. It's always going to be okay. And just be patient with her, for sure. Like, I know my mom is the type of person that's never going to change, and I've come to that realization. Yeah. And once you've come to terms with that, everything just falls into place. You just have a better understanding of, like, yourself and her. And because everything is coming from a place of love, I know that everything that I do from there is always going to be so intentional. Yeah. So, yeah, just be patient, be kind, forgive yourself, and don't rush anything, because you're exactly where you need to be. There's no point in, like, comparing or feeling like you're not good enough or feeling lesser than because of what you were dealt with as a child, you know? Yeah.
Did you express these feelings to, like, your friends, by the way, like, while you were in school? I guess, how did they react to it?
That's a good question. I don't really remember. I think they knew that my mom is very strict, and they know that my mom doesn't let me out. But they were allowed to come to my house. Okay. So there was nothing crazy, but they did understand, like, hey, like, I can't go out for this long, or I can't do this, I can't do that. So they wouldn't really push it. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's good, because I know that when I talked to Vatana, he said that his mom wouldn't even allow people to, like, his house, because it was just like, afraid of, like, well, people know where we live now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, no, my mom did not care. Okay. She was like, I would rather you guys come to my house than her go out there, because I could see. I could see what you're doing. Yeah. And I was boy crazy back in the day. So she was like, I need her to always be home.
Just on the side of, obviously, relationship with your mom, how was it dealing with the divorce? Because I know you said dealt with that as a young age too.
Yeah, that one was really hard for me. I remember so vividly the day that it all happened, like, and how it went. Oh God, it was very traumatizing. So I was 7 years old, as I said. Tyler was about 2 years old. And I was a daddy's girl, like, through and through. I was obsessed with my dad. I loved him so much. He was like my idol. So when my parents announced that they were having a divorce, I remember writing on, like, this big note and drawing, like, my parents and, like, a heart. And I was like, please don't get a divorce. And I gave it to my dad. And my dad was like, how did you know how to spell divorce?
Oh my God. Yeah. How did you?
I don't remember.
That's crazy.
I don't remember. And after that, I totally blanked. I don't remember anything. I just remember giving him that letter and him being like, oh my God, like, you know how to spell divorce. That's crazy. And then that created a huge rift in our relationship, because after my parents' divorce, my dad obviously went to go live with the other woman, and they're still together till this day. But yeah, so he went to go live with her, and we never really spoke again for years. It was like on and off, only for, like, birthdays and, like, holidays. He'll come see us, but it's only for, like, 5 or 10 minutes to, like, exchange gifts and, like, take pictures really quickly so they could post on Facebook.
See, Facebook trying to depict a happy life. That's not really what it is.
Yeah, it was really rough. So I had a lot of resentment towards him. I was really disappointed in the fact that he could just up and leave and like not even really make an effort to be in my life. And I always thought like there's just been so much time and like space that it's so hard to like keep track and like have him be a part of it, you know? So I kind of just gave up. And it wasn't until recently, my 30th birthday, he was there, and it was it was like very heartwarming to have him there, because he was like, oh, I would never miss it for the world. And he literally drove from Springfield to come. And he spent most of the time there, and like he was talking to the family members, and they were all getting along, and it was nice. And my mom and him were in the same vicinity, and there was no problems. Like I was like, oh, this is so meaningful to me, because this is all I ever wanted. Like, I don't care that my parents aren't together anymore. I'm glad that they're not together anymore. And I'm happy, like, now I want to make more of an effort to be in my dad's life, because he wants to be a part of my life. Sometimes he'll call me, sometimes he'll text me randomly just to be like, hey, Monica, like, I miss you. I love you. I hope you have a good day. Come visit me soon. Just things like that. And I'm like, oh, why was I mad again?
It's that inner child like slowly being healed after that.
Yeah.
And props to your dad for making that effort to really have that relationship with you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
I
can
think
imagine.
it's his wife too.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think like his wife is like, hey, like, we're getting older. Like, you should be there for your kids. And I respect that so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's right now struggling with this relationship with their parents, what's the best advice that you could give to them?
Oof. I think you have to be the bigger person. Yeah, I think you really have to be the bigger person. And you have to kind of like sit them down and explain things to them, because you know they will never, ever really initiate that. But once you start it, they will be more open to like having those conversations with you. And that's really it. Like, you have to be the bigger person. Yeah. And let that guard down and be vulnerable for them to see like, oh, I'm in a safe space and I can talk to them because they're my kid.
Yeah,
I should be able to talk to them.
Exactly, yeah. Especially in like Asian American culture, it's very hard for us as the children to be open to our parents. I know when I told my mom that I was going to to therapy, she didn't take it too well at first. We actually had a whole sit-down conversation, and I'm surprised I even got my mom to do that.
Yeah.
Because before, like, some context before, like, I wouldn't open up to my mom about what I was doing in school or like what I was doing like with my friends socially. I wasn't doing anything bad, but like I would like, you know, get the deets and the dating life and stuff like that. Because obviously they're like, oh, like you don't like, I'm not supposed to date until like whatever age or whatever, which obviously makes me wanted to do it more. But when I had that conversation with her about therapy, it was I'm glad I had it because I was hiding it because I was at school and I could go through like school insurance. But with therapy through, obviously when COVID happened, I had to go back home and had to like, well, I can't be on the school's insurance anymore. Yeah. And then because of that, I had to like tell my mom, because she's gonna see all the bills that are like popping up, right? So there's no hiding it. Right. So when I told her first that I need therapy, she was like, did I do something wrong? Like, she was always putting at herself of like, did I do something wrong? And I'm like, no, mom, like, you didn't do anything directly wrong. Yeah. There's indirect things in there, sure, manipulation, all that stuff. But I wasn't blaming all the stuff on what I was going through, all the sadness. Like, I wasn't blaming it on my mom. And I told her, I was like, no, it's not your fault. Like, and then she obviously came up with the question, like, are you thinking about killing yourself? And obviously, like, I did have that thought, but I wasn't going to tell her because that's a hard thing for any parent to register in their brain. Absolutely. But when I opened up to her about that, I think she understood why I needed it. And like days after, she was like, oh, like, you know, I called insurance. They said like, oh, you can call them and, you know, they'll link you up with like a therapist and like you can figure out that on yourself and stuff like that. And I was like, oh wow, like my mom's doing a lot to really like help me get better. Obviously she's like always checking like, oh, hey, do you still need therapy? As in like, hey, like, are you good now? It's kind of like the whole thing of like, oh, like, you know, when my mom or our parents go to like their other siblings or whatever family, they always talk about, oh, like, how's your son, how's your daughter? And then you have they have to say these things, and obviously they're gonna hide that because then it's a reflection of them. They think it's a reflection of them how they're parenting, which isn't the case at all. And I think I'm glad that you were still, despite the relationship with your mom, you were still opening up to her about stuff. Very brave and encouraging, because that's something that I honestly just could not do. And maybe that's because just the relationship we had, or maybe because I'm the son and you're the only daughter, so you played that role as well. But there's just a lot of nuances tonight. It's not easy for us to just open up to our parents like that,
No. Yeah, it's a lot. But I always think at the end of the day, like, what if I died tomorrow? Like, I wouldn't be able to have said anything to her. So I would much rather say everything that I feel to her, so that she just knows, like, okay, I know.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit better now that I'm older, but it took a lot. I'm not going to say it happened overnight. It took a lot of me being like, okay, I need to stop, because, okay, backtrack. I did hold a lot of resentment towards my mom, and like the whole heartbreak situation is because like all the disappointment that I would feel within our relationship, being like, no matter what I did for her, it would never be enough. So I soon started to become harsher to her, where I'd be like, Mom, like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Like, you need to figure it out. But it was like in a way that was like not fulfilling for the both of us, because it never fixed anything. If anything, it made things a lot worse. Like, me having an attitude towards her wasn't helpful. Me saying no to her wasn't helpful. It just made things way worse. So slowly I was just like, you know what? Like, I need to get out. Like, I just need to get out. I feel so trapped. I can't move forward. Like, I would probably still be with my mom now, and I'm 30, and I don't want that. I deserve to be out there and just explore the world and see it for what I think it is, right? Because I don't have a real idea of what the world is, because I was so in my four walls and my mom. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I love her, and I will always be there for her. But I hope now she knows that there are boundaries, and that saying no isn't a reflection of me saying I don't love you. It just means like I have a boundary. And she should understand that setting boundaries isn't me like pushing her away.
All right, Monica, so you went through a lot. Obviously, a relationship with your mom. Now, I think let's get into even more hardships. Let's go into your intimate relationships. So in just your experiences, kind of like the same thing along the lines, like what events, experience, feelings did you have, from those hardships that you had with intimate relationships?
Yeah, intimate relationships. Let's see. I did a lot of people pleasing while I'm in relationships. Like, I feel like throughout my entire life, I always play a certain role for people. I place myself in people's lives where I know I can benefit, but like I do it out of love, not in a way that's like selfish. Like, let's say for my little brother, I'm like his mom. My mom, I'm like her mom. You know what I mean? So like, and then in my relationships, I realize, oh, I'm kind of being like a mom to my partners now, like taking care of them, like cooking for them, cleaning for them, doing their laundry, like just doing all of those things. And I'm like, and like scolding them if they don't clean something or if they don't pick something up off the floor. So it's like I was really being a mom in a place where I really should not be.
Yeah.
And just like the whole people pleasing tendencies where I'm like doing anything and everything I can to make sure that I am loved and seen and appreciated, but kind of going a little obsessive about it. So in a way, I feel like my love can be toxic, because I feel like over loving somebody and then kind of expecting the same thing can be kind of toxic. And that's how I am in my relationships. And I felt like that was a big thing for me to realize, is like, oh, I need to pull back a lot and just sit from a place of like, oh, am I doing all of these with good intentions, or am I just doing this so that I could get like a thumbs up and like, oh, I love you, you're great, you're amazing, like getting all those words of affirmations to make me feel good. But is it really going to make me feel good? I don't know. So it's like, I don't know what my true intentions are when I'm in my relationships. Like, am I really doing this stuff because I love them, or am I doing this so that I could be told that I'm loved? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because with my mom, that's how I perceived love was, oh yeah, I need you to do this for me. Okay, good. You're doing this for me. I love you. So, yeah. The people pleasing, mom tendencies, always feeling like I'm doing something wrong. Like if I make a decision, I'm always feeling like, oh, did I make the right decision? Will they like what I said? Would they like what I do? And if I feel like they didn't, then it's so detrimental to me where I'm like, oh, I really fucked up. Like, this is why I don't want to make the decisions. Like, I want you to take the lead. Like, me taking the lead is never something that I want to do. But now I'm feeling like it's better for me to take the lead because I know what I want and what I need now. But in relationships, I was I guess the follower.
Okay, yeah.
I was never the leader. I did everything that my partners would want me to do.
And did you look for those qualities in a person like that at the time? Like someone who's just like
a leader?
Yeah.
Sadly, the people that I have been with have not been good leaders.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why like the whole mom tendencies would come out, where I always felt like I had to be the first to initiate like going out on dates, or initiate like just seeing family and friends, or just everything. Going grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, like everything. I did everything. It was hard.
Were you the type of person that like would date someone to change them? Like, did it go along that path a little bit or no?
Oh.
You know, the project, what's it? I forgot what the term is. It's like the project or the fixers or yeah.
I'm definitely a fixer. My last 2 relationships I feel like are the most memorable. So I had a past relationship with a mutual like friend that we've known for like a long time. And we were on and off for about 4 years. And I guess I would say I was trying to change him, but I always felt like I was trying to change him in a good way. Like trying to be supportive of his dreams and try to push him to follow his dreams. Like stop making excuses. I would have given him money to do X, Y, and Z so that he could have gone further. Trying to change the way he did love me. Like, but I felt like those things are things that would benefit both of us. It wouldn't just be a selfish thing for me. So I guess that's what I would perceive as like me trying to change them. But in general, I would never try to change them to the point where they don't recognize themselves. Because I used to say to my ex, like, I would never make you choose what you love over who you love, because what you love came before me, and I just want to be there to support you with what you love, right? That's just how I felt. So like all of my other bad red flags was me just being overly loving, I think. But yeah.
So I mean, I'm trying to understand like because when you say like that, I'm like, I don't perceive any toxicity, like any traits, at least maybe the ones that I'm used to hearing about. Because I feel like you're like, oh, like you're trying to help them and, you know, doing a lot. I think now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe it is that point where like, oh, like whatever you give, you expect back. So when you didn't get that, you know, that same kind of love back, how did you react?
I did act very childish. I could be a very petty person. So that's why I'm saying, like, I know that I have these red flags and I can be toxic, but I think it's because I love so much and because I do expect some type of something back. But I'm not always asking for something extreme, right? I'm not asking for a Birkin bag. I'm not asking you to take me on a trip or anything like that. Like, just in like random flowers or like little cards or something to show some type of appreciation is what I expected. I never voiced it.
Okay.
So
there's
that's
also
so like I have these red flags that I'm super hyper aware of, but I just never voiced it. So it's like hard for me to express those things to my partners, because it used to be really hard for me to express those things to my mom. Like it took me up until like 28 years old to finally speak to my mom about these things.
Yeah.
So imagine in relationships where I'm like, oh, you should be able to read my mind. Like, we're with each other all the time. Like, how come you don't pick up on these things? Like, just pay attention.
Yeah,
But it's like,
yeah.
it's not always like that, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody has different love languages. Everybody, what your effort may be like somebody's like highest effort. Like, that's the most that they can do. And it's like, oh, like, we're just not at the same level.
Yeah.
And I'm just realizing that now, where it's like, okay, I'm giving myself to somebody who this is what they can give. I'm trying to meet them where they're at, but I'm up here.
Yeah. I can see how disheartening that is. But you deserve someone that will do those things that you do want, and instead of trying to grind that out of them, like, it's better to just like, okay, like, realize that person's not it, and like, keep moving on, and that's okay. And I gotta say, I'm not gonna speak for all men out there, but I know with myself, sometimes I just need a reminder on like doing things. Like, it's just I don't know, I think about a lot of things, and then like, yes, I forget, like, oh, like, if this happens, then I should, like, do this and initiate and stuff like that. I know I do that sometimes, and I'll take that to a fault. So trying to explain on the other side of like where that comes from. But,
I figure. There's a lot going on in men's minds, and I'm like, honestly, I would never want to be in a man's mind. I don't want to know what you guys think about.
It's probably so simple.
It's probably
so simple.
It's simple?
I'm gonna tell you,
Really?
yeah. It's just like, oh, like, did I cook? Did I go to the gym? What am I doing? Do I look big? No, I don't know. No, I'm not speaking for all men. This is all my thoughts. I'm not speaking for everyone. No. I only say it's simple because I've just been in a relationship for a very long time. And for me, like, recently, it's been a lot about highest version and how to grow it. Before that, it was about anxiety and depression. So,
we like this better.
Yeah. We like the simple, more mindset better. But I guess what was your perspective of what a guy's mind is? Yeah. Because you'd expect me to say simple, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's a different answer. So I'm curious to hear this answer.
No, like, I guess what I think is, maybe it's the people that I've been with. In their state, a lot of them are having a hard time figuring out what the next steps are. Like, they're always worried about, oh, I just want to make more money. I want to do this and succeed at owning a business, or getting a house that's like, I don't know, $1 million, or they always think about those things, and they always feel like they're not doing enough as like a man. Like, they don't feel manly enough, So I always think, oh, like, in the man's mind must be crazy. Like, they're always thinking about those crazy things, and I'm like, oh, like, I want to eat. Like, I'm thinking about the simple things, but the guys that I'm with, they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, I need to do better. Like, I can't be in my best version until I get this or hit this goal. And I'm like, that's like a hard life to live. Like, you're literally like setting yourself back because you think that you don't deserve to just enjoy these little moments because you are so fixated on getting those big things. But, like, you don't know when you're going to get those big things. So just let's take it step by step before you freak out. Because, a lot of the time these men, I feel like, when they're not good with themselves, they're going to project it onto everybody. Right? And so that's why I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to be in a man's mind. I don't know what goes on there. But you're like, no, like,
it's simple. I mean, the whole idea of like being a provider, I think that is what's being ingrained in at least the guys that are in my family. That's been grinded in our mind, to be a provider, to do all the quote unquote like manly things that we need to do for our partner. And not to say like I don't want to, and I do want to, but I can tell how that can break someone down just because you feel like you have to do all these higher things, and maybe you're not in that zone, or it's uncomfortable for you to like start doing those things, which is completely fine. And not feeling that good enough. And yes, I mean, it sounds like they were so focused on the result versus like the journey that it's on. And I mean, that will break you down if you're so focused on just, I can't be happy until this happens. then
And everybody else is just miserable.
exactly right. And like when you're so focused on that goal, then you don't see all these like little ones that you're doing. Like when I thought about it, I think I relaunched highest version like in September of this year, and I'm standing at like 283 followers. Now I'm at like 300 and something, and I'm like, dang, I'm like, I should be proud of myself for every single one follower that I've been able to like gain on this standpoint. And you know, it's a mix of like, you know, people I don't know, a mix of people that, you know, that I do know are following because of, you know, they know me and stuff, and support all that stuff. But yeah, no, that's a hard journey in itself, which is a side tangent. But yeah, in a man's mind, like I from my perspective, like there is a little bit of hardship of having that pressure to be a provider and leader. I'm gonna say more provider in that standpoint, not really the leader in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel bad because it's like, I feel like us girls can be just as simple too, where we just want to hang out or like we just want to be supportive and be there for you, but we don't know how to, you know? So that's been my struggle in relationships, where I'm just like, I'm always with somebody who's just not even ready. So it's like, all I want is to be in a good standing relationship and just like flow. But there's always something going on, and I'm like, okay, someone's got to give. You know?
I mean, it's the nature. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all about the communication up front. I think certain conversations up front when people decide to date would be very beneficial. Like you said, boundaries, understanding your love languages, or even if you don't understand your love language, being like, hey, like I feel happy if my partner like did this, you know, kind of talking that out to understand, okay, you get a basis of like quote unquote what to expect, but also have that open mind of like, hey, like they're not going to get it every single time just because you said it right then and there. And again, like sometimes I just forget too, and I'm like I forgot. And I know you said it. I just need a reminder. I'm sorry.
You need to write these down.
I know. It's just like on my hand all the time. I'm like, okay, then when this happens, gotta do this. Yeah. I guess what kind of, so did you struggle with communication in those past relationships?
Yeah, I did. I'm the type of person that really like shuts down when they're upset. I guess I kind of ignore, like how my mom would ignore, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really ignore my partners. I would ignore my own feelings. I would resent my partner so much when I shut down and I don't communicate, and like I expect them to just know. So me communicating would mostly be me being like shutting down, and then maybe days later I like blow up because I've held it in for so long. And that is not the way to do it, right? But that's just how I always did things because of my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it, Mom. Like,
kind of crazy, right?
This is not a good trait to have. I don't want to do this. But it's like, I didn't know how else to release that tension that I had. It was always placed or like ignored and like swept under the rug until finally something triggered me. And I'm like, last week you did this and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, that was last week.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm like, you should have known. You should have known. And it's just a whole other thing.
Yeah. Do you understand, okay, so one, do you understand what your love language is and where that comes from?
Yeah.
So what is that?
I think I have all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have all of them, but just in different orders.
Okay.
So
what's like number one?
Number one, I think it would be quality time.
Okay. And why is that? Do you
because
understand
my
why?
mommy ignored me.
Oh, right. You're so right.
And I didn't have my dad there. And like my most memorable times are like with my little brother Tyler. So whenever I felt anything and I just wanted comfort, my little brother was always there for me. I'd be like, yo, do you want to go to like Burger King or something? Do you want to go to the mall with me? Like just little things like that. Like you don't have to say, he doesn't say a lot. Like my little brother is basically mute. So just having him there with me and just running errands with me was enough. So quality time, I think, is number one.
Tyler's probably like, he's like, oh, I gotta go again. It's like, I just want to stay home.
That's literally him. He's like, dude, I just want to play video games.
You're like, no, come in with me. Come on, let's go.
I'm like, I'll pay for your food. Let's go.
Yeah, you can't pass up on that opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, what's number 2 and 3?
Words of affirmation and physical touch.
Okay. So where do those come from?
Words of affirmation, I think, also definitely comes from my mom. I just wanted to hear some type of encouragement from her, some type of appreciation. I think she still has a hard time, unless I'm like, Mommy, what do you say after?
Oh man, you let what are the 3 words you have to say to me right now?
Exactly. I think it starts with an I.
I've never heard my parents say I love you to me.
Really?
Maybe not until, I don't know, it's like pretty recent. And
Really?
I was like, whoa, I don't like that. I was like, it's okay.
It's so awkward.
We don't need to say it. We don't need to say it. It's okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, I love it when my mom says it finally. Because, like, I'll always be off the phone with her and I'll be like, I love you, Mommy. And she'll be like, love you too. And I'm like, yes, we're out here.
She's like, I love you. It's such a like a hard thing for them to say.
It is.
But you got to understand that, like, how their parents, so our grandparents treated them. Like, exactly. I don't really know. Like, I don't know how they did. So they only could do their best based off what they've already known. Yeah,
that's true. But even like with my grandmother, when she was alive, as you know, I'm super silly, right? So I always try to make people laugh. So with her, like I would say things like, "Oh, Mommy, you look so sexy today." Like, "Oh, Mommy, you look so good. You're so cute." And she would just start laughing and she'll hit me in the head. She'd be like, "Oh, stop it. Stop it, you silly girl." I'm like, "Oh, I know you love me." And she'd be like, "Yes, I do." Or if I do say I love you, she'd just be like, "You too."
Oh, yeah, don't say you too. One of my friends, she said, like, when she says I love you, she expects her boyfriend to say just I love you, not I love you too, because it's like you're only saying it because I said it. No, just straight. It has to be I love you. And
no,
I'm like,
I'll take what I could get.
True. So this is something that a language I feel like nobody talks about a lot. Do you understand your fight language?
My what?
So there's
okay.
So there's a guy I listen to named Jay Shetty. He's a very influential person in the space.
Yeah.
I love hearing what he talks about, and he focuses on not only life but also like relationships as well. So your fight language is basically how you argue with your partner. So let me give you an example. So with me and my partner, like I'm someone that just wants to talk it out, like right away after like someone expresses like how they're upset. You know what I mean? But my partner at first, she shuts down. So she needs time to process everything. Yeah. Or else she feels like she's gonna say something that is she feels like she's gonna say something that she's gonna regret, and she doesn't want to do that. So the fight language is like shut down. I think that's and I don't know the correct terms for what each fight language is, but once I understood what her fight language was, I was like, okay, like give her that time to process, words and all that stuff, and then we can talk it through. Because I understood her fight language, we were able to communicate a lot better when things got, expressing like being upset or sad or anything like that. Yeah. So I guess, how do you feel? Like, what do you think your kind of fight language is?
I think I'm a pushy person. So if I feel upset, I need to talk about it right now.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And I will force it. Yeah. I would force it.
Even though you hold it in for a couple weeks? Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's very circumstantial too. Like there are times where I know how to pick and choose my battles and sometimes where I really don't.
Yeah.
Right. So the moments where I don't know how to choose my battles, I'm very obsessive and like forceful. So I will be like, no, I need to talk about it right now. And they'll be like, I'm literally working. And I'll be like, if you love me, you'll do it right now.
Ooh, those words.
Yeah, I can be toxic. You know what I mean? Like I can be toxic, I can be controlling, I could be forceful, and petty. So yeah, I think I'm the type of person that's like, no, I need to fix it right now, even though I don't even know what my emotions are. I'm mad, I'm sad. Those are the two emotions that are very heightened, and that's all I can see. We need to talk about it right now.
So I guess how is your so what are you doing now? I think you know you told me you're in the dating space and you're trying to work on these things that you
Yeah.
said that you felt made yourself toxic. So
Yeah.
what are those things that you're working on now?
Oh, I think just slowing down. Um, and just because I feel one little special emotion doesn't mean that I need to act on it because it's a special moment. Just like feel it and then let it pass.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit with it for too long
Mm-hmm.
because then you start spiraling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I've learned to just calm down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
be more at peace, enjoy my alone time, but also take in the love that I do receive and just take it for what it is. Don't dig too deep.
Yeah.
It's really not that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just little things like that. Being more patient, being more kind, being more open, setting boundaries, knowing exactly what I don't want and what I do want.
But I know you told me that you're also taking your time with dating
Yeah.
too and not rushing into a relationship. Like after that one date, go straight into
Yeah.
a relationship. And I feel like people can do that, just like jump into relationships really fast. I guess why, in your mindset, like why was why were you jumping into like relationships fast before?
Um, I think because I always felt like I was a relationship girly and that was just I didn't like being alone because I felt like I was always alone my whole life. Like yeah, I had my little brother, but like he
Yeah.
also has his friends or he also wants to be alone himself. So I didn't really have anybody and I always felt like I was never like somebody's favorite person. You know how like somebody has like their core group of friends, but they have like that one best friend that they could do anything and everything with and blah 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 blah. Like I was never that. And even with like family members too. Like I have favorites. I'm totally gonna admit that, right?
Yeah.
But I never really felt like I was somebody's favorite. Not until recently.
Yeah.
Like I have my favorite cousin and we're now like mutual favorite cousins.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in my partnerships I always felt like that was just embedded in us. Like we're our favorite people. Like we see the most intimate, vulnerable moments of each other. So it's like if anything happens, like that's usually the first person that I go to, right? But I guess like me jumping into those relationships so quickly is I always felt like, oh, this is my security. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to just have that there because I didn't have my mom, I didn't have my dad, I just didn't have that other one person. So I really relied on my partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I know when in high school when I see someone jump from relationship to relationship, I didn't understand
Yeah.
why they were doing it, but I think it's on that piece of like not being alone
Yeah.
and feeling loved if love didn't come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you told me a lot about how you're what you're doing to become the highest version of yourself. What's one thing that you're really enjoying now?
Committing to going to the gym. Yeah. That's if I could make one commitment and stick with that, the gym is definitely the one that I'm like the most proud of. Because it's so beneficial for you, right?
Yeah.
All these endorphins are being released. So it's like, it's the good endorphins. So going back and being consistent has been so helpful. And then also having somebody there to like back you up and like keep you accountable.
Ooh.
So that's with me and my favorite cousin. Like we keep each other accountable. We send each other pictures and making sure that we're showing evidence of us going to the gym.
Nice. Nice. You have a nice accountability partner. That's awesome.
Exactly.
What I guess with the gym, I guess what made it one of your favorite things to do now? Is it just that feeling of reward, or is it what shifted that mindset, I guess?
I think the whole like just making promises to yourself and sticking with it, right? Like you can make promises for other people, but what about yourself? Is how I thought about it. And so going to the gym and the reward afterwards, it always feels so good after a really good workout.
Yeah.
And like people are like, why are you at the gym for like 2 hours? I'm like, damn, like I just enjoy being at the gym because one, stretching, you stretch before and after,
Yep.
and then you work out and then cardio and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I love having that routine. It makes me feel like, okay, I have something to look forward to. And it actually makes me happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, especially when they go to the gym, maybe like when they first start to really go on this consistent basis, it can be very daunting at first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you have those feelings?
Oh, for sure. Honestly, I didn't even start going to the gym just like out of nowhere. It was like a forceful thing.
What?
Okay, not forced, but kind of. So my cousin Lena, who's my accountability person, there's a race that's happening in DC where she's from.
Okay.
And a few of my family members are going there. So they invited us to go. And I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it. There's no way. I hate cardio. And she was like, no, we're doing it. I'm signing you up.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. I mean, I guess. She's like, if we start training now, you will definitely be ready. So this happened in November.
Okay.
Yeah, so very recently. So since November, we've been going to the gym. But it was only because of that. It's because she technically forced me into this run that's in DC.
Yeah.
So she's like, and it's an excuse for you to come hang out with me. And I was like,
you're like, I guess.
Fine.
But hey, now it's something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
So how about that? When's the race?
It's April 5th.
Okay. All right. I'll look out for that post just to see how it went. Is this your first race?
I haven't done one since like 2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a 5K, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But there was one that was a 10-mile one. And she was going to sign us up for that one. I was like, you really think someone who does not go to the gym for hasn't gone to the gym in 3 years can run 10 miles in a day?
Bro.
What logic is this?
Hey, she was all or nothing at that point. Win or go home.
I was like, yo, you would need to take me out in a wheelchair. I can't.
Hey, it's a good compromise. The 5K is a good compromise.
Exactly.
A good compromise.
It was like 3 miles. We can do that. Let's do that one.
For sure. Song association. Obviously, we give each other a word, and then we try to think of a song for that word.
Yep.
Just because you said R&B, I'm trying to think of words that will always come through.
Oh, you didn't write this down? This is
no, off the top.
dome?
Yeah.
Shit.
All right. The word I'm gonna give you is kiss.
Oh, what's that song from Chris Brown? The lovey-dovey.
The kiss. Good. Nice.
Or
nice.
the Rihanna song, Kiss It Better.
I don't know
that song? Oh, it's literally called Kiss It Better.
Oh, okay. I was like, I got nothing.
Or I kissed a girl and
I
I liked it.
Yep. I was gonna give you confessions, but that would have been too easy.
Confessions?
Yeah.
These are my
Confession,
confessions.
just when I thought I said I could sit and jig on the side. Yep. There's a time I was listening to a lot of Usher.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I wouldn't know a lot of these R&B hits or songs without my brother, because he would always listen to R&B and stuff like that.
You have a brother?
I have an older brother. Yeah.
Is it just two of you?
Just two of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, at your birthday?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
exactly.
okay.
The one that was wearing the nice shirt. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I remember now.
Yeah. All right, your turn to give me a word. It's off the dome now.
Ooh. Star.
Star? Wow, people really love Star, because Charlie gave me Star too.
Yeah, don't sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. There's only one right song that I have in mind.
For Star?
Yeah.
Okay, I already sang all the stars.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get this right now. This is called "In the Stars" by Benson Boone.
Okay.
It's
I've never heard that song.
there's a line. Oh my god. oh, she's gonna kill me. Just kidding. Rest in peace. Oh, damn. I'm fucking this up again. Oh shit. What is it?
You know what's crazy too? Because in actual song association, you're timed.
Yeah, I'm timed by 5 seconds. Yeah, it's over. It's over right now. So I guess I failed mine. But what song were you thinking for Star?
Teo Cruz, she's like a star.
Oh, she's like a star, like a star. Wow, you bring some good hits here.
Yeah.
All right, I will get In the Stars right next time. If someone else gives you Star, it's gonna
be
have
that
it.
one.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get into questions from the audience.
Yeah.
You actually have a good. You have a lot.
Shoot.
So the first one is from Michelle Mark. And what is your favorite traveling spot now that you have traveled the world a bit?
Yeah, my favorite traveling spots. I will always have a very special place in my heart for Guatemala, and Portugal.
Okay.
Those are my favorite places, and I would definitely go back.
What made them so memorable for you?
Yeah, so for Guatemala, that was the first country that I've ever been to, and that was with my ex. He found out that I've never traveled before, and he was like, "Oh my God, I need to take you somewhere." And it's funny because I originally wanted to go to Antigua, Barbados, so it's like a tropical island. But when we looked into it, his brother was like, "Oh, I've been to Antigua." But he meant Guatemala.
Oh.
And then we researched it more and we were like, oh, wait, like this actually sounds fun. Because there's an active volcano that you can go to hike up and see.
Oh, shit.
And you could stay the night and be like close to the volcano. So that's what we did.
Oh, wow.
And that was my idea. So
Initiate.
yeah.
Always the first one.
Yeah.
Initiate.
that was our favorite memory. So I was like, oh, we wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for me.
How did that feel? Like, did you feel that heat or no? I mean, obviously you were far enough.
Yeah, we were pretty far,
Yeah,
but we could have hiked further if we wanted to. I mean, closer if we wanted to, but the hike itself was so strenuous. It was like 3,000 meters. I don't know how tall that is.
Yeah, but that's a lot. No, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And I hiked it not knowing that I had COVID. Yeah, I had COVID and I didn't know.
Jeez.
And I hiked it and I was dying. And at the time, my ex thought I was like over exaggerating, but I was like, no, like I really feel like I'm dying.
Yeah. Damn, what the hell? What do you call you for over exaggerating for?
He's a lot. He's a lot. But yeah, that's my favorite memory ever. And then Portugal, it was a family, like first cousins trip to Portugal.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the cousins trips, all those like family trips are a lot more fun.
Yeah. It was hard to plan because there was like 13 of us, I think.
Ooh, to have like all the, yeah.
We all stayed at different places though. We all didn't stay at the same places. Me and Kyle is the man. Oh my God. He stayed in hostels with me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's not easy for a lot of people.
No, he was like, no, I'm down. Like, I'm down to stay in hostels with you. Like, even though he's like kind of sacrificing his sleep because you know how you're bunked with people. Yeah. So he's the man. He stayed with me in hostels. Everybody else stayed in like hotels and Airbnbs.
Yeah.
So that was an adventure.
I'm surprised y'all didn't get like a big ass house and just,
We did that when we traveled down to the Algarve.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but like it's the beachy area.
Gotcha.
So we stayed in like a huge villa down there together. But when we were in Lisbon and Porto, we all stayed at different places.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. So what's one that's on your bucket list next to travel?
So I'm going to Paris in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just for fun,
that was
or
a bucket list.
Just for fun, or
I'm going with my favorite cousin, Lena.
Okay, awesome.
We're trying to make it like a yearly thing where we go and travel with each other, which I love because recently we came back from St. Thomas together. So now we're going to go to Paris.
I really should have got a ratatouille. Damn it.
It's okay. That would have been so cute. But this is also really good. Like the connection that you had towards us is really nice. I love that. What was the question? Oh, what's on my bucket list?
Yeah. You said Paris and that you're going with your favorite cousin.
Yeah. I definitely want to go to Asia. I really want to go to Asia.
Have you been to, obviously you said, is there a chance that you would want to go back to Cambodia with your mom?
Ooh, with my mom. I would love to. I really would. But I think it's harder for her now because she has something with her foot. So it swells up very easily. So walking around wouldn't be ideal for her.
Yeah.
But she also wants to start traveling more. So that's nice. Yeah, I would love to go to Cambodia. I've never even been. Our parents didn't want us going for a long time because it's just associated with such bad memories. And it wasn't safe, really. It was still really underdeveloped. But now that it's more developed and like more modernized, they're like, okay, I would feel more comfortable with you guys just going. Even if you just decided to go as like a cousin's trip again, go for it.
Yeah. Gotcha. So the next question I have from someone is, I do not know how to pronounce his name, but Holly V, that's his tag name. He has two questions. He said, what qualities do you look for in a person to date, and your preferred process to deepening that connection to evolve it into a relationship? Yeah, that's a big one.
Wow. What qualities? Oh my God.
So let me start with the first one. Yeah, what qualities do you look for in a relationship? look for in a person really in a person to date. So I don't know how you would interpret that, whether that's just like going on a date or in a relationship, but like go just interpret it how you would that question.
I think we'll dig deep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the qualities that I look for in a partner is someone who's considerate, someone who's respectful to everybody, you know, not just his family, but to like friends, strangers, definitely his partner. Like showing respect for your partner goes such a long way because you start to really, really, really see them in a bigger light. A family man, that really matters to me. Someone who's ambitious in a way, like if they have a passion, I hope that they go for it. And yeah, someone who has a good stable career is important for me. And someone who's gentle. I need that gentle, patient, childish love because I'm that, you know? So it'd be nice to have that reciprocation. Yeah, I think those are important to me.
And the second part of his question, it was your preferred process to deepening that connection to evolve it into a relationship. So I guess how you would go about deepening a connection with someone for it to be a relationship.
Oh, that's such a good question. Oh my God. I don't know. Like, I feel like at this point in my life, like if you're not bringing peace and like adding to my life, I don't think I could see it moving forward. So I need there to be some type of fight and something to prove that you can be something for me. If that makes sense.
Yes,
right?
I know what you're talking about. But say like hypothetically, say you are dating someone, you go on multiple dates, you really like them. I guess how are you deepening that connection so that it does evolve into like a partner?
I don't know. I feel like
it really is just that.
I feel like I just have to, because I'm so hurt right now and like healing. It's hard for me to trust that this person is actually wanting to invest that into me. So I really need them to prove that to me so that I could turn that off and be like, oh wait, okay, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, because right now I'm so sheltered and so like, oh, I'm hurt. Like I just need to really trust that you won't hurt me. And then I would be open to having a relationship or talking about being in a relationship,
Gotcha.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be constant like communication and discussions, reassurance for that to evolve into a relationship. Okay. No, that's completely valid. Completely valid.
I need patience right now for sure.
Yeah. Well, Monica, I think this conversation has been so great. I mean, hearing about relationship with your mom and just everything you learned about your life up until this point. And like you said, like I know you recently turned 30, but this is like a start of your life. You're starting a whole new identity of yourself, and you know, I can't wait to be, you know, an observer on that, you know, on that journey, and I hope you get to see more of the world, doing things that continue to make you happy, especially for so many years that you've just been doing it for someone else, and now it's time for you to, you know,
spread my wings, like you said.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, thank you for using my words. I'm glad I used that term. But now we'll get into the big three questions. These are three questions that I feel like will leave an impact on our viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
And my first question that I have for you is, you know, if you could sit down with a younger version of yourself, so think about like you guys are on a bench, you sit down with the younger version of yourself. What are the things that you would say to that person about what's to come in their life?
Oh, I think I kind of touched base on this earlier.
Yeah, you did a little bit. If you could expand on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think to really just, I think I'm going to piggyback on what Nalene said, but basically just trust yourself. Like really, really pay attention to how you're feeling and how you're reacting to something, because usually it's a sign for you to listen, right? So let's say, for example, I feel anxious because of this person that hurt me. I think that's a sign for me to really probably get out of the situation, right? And just trust in divine timing. Like everything really does happen for a reason, and everything happens for you, not at you, I guess, if that makes sense. So just be patient with yourself. Be so kind to yourself and forgiving, because you don't know. You really think you know, but you don't know.
Yep.
So be open to learning, be patient, be kind, and you will be just fine.
So,
yeah.
Dang, I kind of needed that too.
Oh.
It's just that we're so hard on ourselves with a lot of
really
things.
Are.
And just this, at least for me, like my journey with content creation, being a content creator, it's when your I wouldn't say livelihood, but sort of your livelihood is based on how people, whether like you or not, through numbers. It's definitely been hard, and you know, in those times where like, oh, like I'm not going up in followers and stuff like that, it hurts. But then again, it's like, hey, this takes time, and I'm super grateful and appreciative of anyone who's listening and or even supporting. You know, whether they actually do hit the follow button or not. Like if they are still supporting regardless, you know, that's something that still warms my heart for sure.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, and I think if you're consistent with it, like you're just gonna naturally find those people that gravitate towards you. And I've also learned that too, as like I've grown up, like you naturally gravitate towards the people that are supposed to be in your life. You know, it's really, really, I mean, it's been amazing, honestly, getting older.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's like I feel like I always like to say like a phoenix rising from the ashes. There's where the spread the wings come from there.
Yeah. That's true. Like a whole rebirth for sure. That's how I feel. I like that.
Yeah. And my second question I have for you is, what does becoming the highest version of yourself mean to you? And I know you already touched base on this, but how are you doing it today?
Being the highest version of myself, I think, is just being a better person for me and for everyone around me, right? And so being able to do that is, before I do that, is I have to put myself first. Yeah, I really am learning to set my boundaries, be more confident in myself, trusting that every decision that I'm making is the right decision. Even if it may feel wrong, it's probably for the best. So just trusting that process, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And then also being open to meeting new people and not sheltering yourself is important to becoming your highest self, because you need to learn in order to grow. And in order to grow, you have to be willing to be okay with being wrong.
So, Snaps. And especially at 30, I feel like there's a misconception that you can't meet new people. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's such a really, a silly statement, because like I feel like you're always going to meet people as you go in life. And, you know, I feel like sometimes people don't want to put energy into either meeting new people or like making new friends, but you don't know, you know, where things can lead.
You should definitely be okay with starting over as many times as you want, no matter how much older you get, because you just never know. Like I said earlier, you think you know, but you really don't know.
For sure.
So it's like starting over or like meeting new people later in life, it's just natural, I think. I used to be that way though. I used to think it was so scary. I used to think, oh my God, like I want to have these group of friends for the rest of my life. Like, oh, we're never going to fall off. But that's just not life. You know, like people are going to come and go. People grow out of relationships and they meet new people. So it's like, oh, like it's not a bad thing. It's all love for sure.
Yeah.
So I approve of getting older.
You heard it here first. And my third question for you is, if you could bring someone onto this podcast that you think would be great, who would that person be and why?
Oh, I think we've mentioned this before, or Nalene has. Our friend Yoshi. Okay. They're amazing in every way possible. I love them so much. Like, they're super talented. Their energy is amazing. They light up the room, like just being there. Like their presence will affect everyone around you, and it's a great thing. So I think that they should come onto the pod, and I think that my favorite cousin should come on this pod.
Here we go.
Specifically because her life is insane. Really? Yeah, it's insane. And she also is a huge traveler, so she's been anywhere and everywhere. And she's huge into fashion, so she's really known for fashion. So she knows kind of some cool people. That I think it would be cool to have a discussion about.
And maybe uncover some things about your cousin that you didn't know about, possibly.
Ooh, that would be wild, because I feel like I know everything about her.
I was gonna say, I was like, that's probably not gonna happen. But I feel like a lot of people when like they've seen my other guests, like, oh, like I actually didn't know that about that person, and I was like, oh wow. So, you know, I feel like this podcast uncovers a lot of things that people don't know about. But I know I feel like not only told me that Yoshi, you know, if you're listening, gotta make it happen. Yes, bring you on.
Let's go.
Well, again, Monica, thank you so much. I appreciate your time in doing this. I feel like there's a lot of gems of advice that you've experienced to our viewers, and I can't wait for to maybe like do a check-in and see how your journey is 6 months from now and how much you've grown.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Me too. Actually, I'm doing this thing with my cousin. I talk about her a lot. Sorry.
That's okay.
But we're going to be writing letters to ourselves for next year to see how much we've accomplished.
Nice.
And I'm excited to see that because maybe I could discuss that with you later.
Yeah, no.
Like, oh, look at all the things that I've hit and didn't hit, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's things that you are not going to hit, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Before I sign us off, anything you want to plug at the moment?
Anything I want to plug?
Yeah.
Like my social media?
Socials, maybe something you're working on, so like maybe something freelance or business that you're going on, anything like that.
I'm starting to want to post more content as well. The content that I choose to put out is mostly like self-love stuff and like me just doing life, like hopping around to new coffee shops and just trying new things, pastries, that I have a love for.
Yeah.
So I'm like on the hunt to find like the best coffee shops with the best matcha lattes and pastries.
Nice.
So yeah, you can follow me on my travel page, which is my Instagram, Soulful Wanderer Monica, I think it is.
Okay. Don't worry. Well, I'll leave a link down there. I'll leave a tag.
Yeah.
And that's something that I actually did forget to ask you about is I have this, I wouldn't say cringe, but like fear of like, filming content and like I don't
like in public.
Yeah, in public. Oh, yeah. Okay. Any advice you can give to me on that? I don't know if you've experienced those feelings too.
I don't know. I just go for it.
Just do it. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all I need to hear.
It's like honestly, it's funny how many times I've recorded myself out in public and people are like, "I love you." Like just after I record something, they're like, "I love you," because like you can do this in public and not be shamed for it or feel shameful for it. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just kind of having fun, and I think it's normalized now where people do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go for it and do it. And you can even just start off doing it really discreetly because that's what I did at first. But now I'm like, just proudly.
Yeah. No, that's something I also wanted to say to you is like just be what you just said. What you just said made me think of like. Just like be your main character in your life. Be the main character instead of the supporting character.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, guys, if you guys really like this episode, anything resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Again, I will put Monica's socials down in the description. So feel free to follow her on her journey. And as always, guys, let's fall in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Love y'all.